Linux Challenge Part 6. We install Windows, but try to look at it through the eyes of a Linux user or through the eyes of a fresh user and try to catch ourselves with every workaround. Like, there's
some rough stuff. There's some really rough stuff.
There's been a bug in the Windows installer where if you have 2 drives, right, and you pick one of them, there is a roll an 8-sided die chance that the secondary drive will end up with your bootloader. So if you pull out your secondary drive, your main drive, which has your entire operating system on it, other than the bootloader, won't boot anymore.
Yeah.
And the process for fixing that is complete and utter black magic. Like,
There's
it can be
also-
done, but it is a freaking nightmare. You know, if I come out and I say, look, anything that you must do through command line is that if the average gamer has to do something through command line, then you're done, right? Like, if I'm going to say that, then I can absolutely say to Microsoft, if any user ever has to do this, you done goofed. You suck. It's that simple.
There's also
it's so bad.
Windows Update
It's so bad.
is so bad.
It's shocking. Like, tell
it's
me this.
actually stunning.
Tell me this, okay? For all the technological
man.
marvel that Windows is, like, let's not pretend it isn't.
Sure. Yeah.
It's an amazing piece of software. The fact that it works as well as it does is a bloody miracle when you consider the forward and backward compatibility of the platform. It's amazing. How could it possibly be? How could it possibly be that when I click check for updates, that is not instantaneous?
Yeah.
How could you possibly not know what the updates on my system are and what the updates on your cloud server are?
And it takes like
in milliseconds.
it takes an actually awkward amount of time.
It
for us to
really
find
does.
I'm sitting there sometimes going like really? Like I've actually never had to check for updates on Mint. Mint just has this very nice little notification with a very tiny little dot that'll tell me if there's new ones. And if I feel like it, I'll download and install them, and it's never a problem. I always know if they're there. Windows, I have to manually check, or if it's just gonna try to like restart and bork all my stuff at random times. It's just like, oh man, so frustrating.
It's just baffling. So yeah, what do you think of that? We do we try to go fresh eyes. Maybe I'll go Windows 11. Because here's something that frustrated me on Linux. For whatever reason, OpenVPN. Okay.
Someone in chat just said it took 11 seconds right now for them to find their Windows updates.
How is that?
Why?
How is that even possible?
Sorry. Okay, keep going.
How is it possible? You know. What was I saying?
Windows 11?
OpenVPN. So OpenVPN in Manjaro Linux is as simple as right-clicking on your network connection and being like, oh, I want to use OpenVPN. Now, I didn't actually manage to get it working. I spent a grand total of 15 seconds troubleshooting it.
Okay.
So the problem was that it wanted a pre-shared key and a passphrase or something like that. And I was like, normally when I connect to this, I only use a username and password. And that's not what this is. So I guess and it involved going into our pfSense box and exporting a new thing or something. I was like, you know what? I'm like 9 days from the end of the challenge. I'm going to parsec into my work machine. I don't even care. Sorry. So I didn't bother. But if I was used to that workflow, what I can tell is that it would be super simple to quickly authenticate and connect to an OpenVPN connection, which is awesome. On Windows, it's kind of a pain in the ass. It kind of sucks. You have to download this secondary application, and when you connect to it, I've got this weird issue with Windows Explorer where if I don't wait for the connection to completely finish and I try to access a network share on the remote network, I will have to disconnect, close OpenVPN, open it again. Sometimes I have to do a full dance where I have to restart explorer.exe. Then I have to open OpenVPN, connect, wait patiently, and then do it again because just reconnecting or just opening a new Explorer window will not work. It will just not load. There are problems with Windows.
Tried to play Forza
Okay, we're back to problems with Linux now.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, this is like...
Have you installed Windows already?
I'm technically done the challenge, so I didn't install Windows because I just had both drives in.
Got it. Okay.
So I just booted Windows. I was literally
I pulled my Windows drive out so I wouldn't be tempted.
I was back on... That's funny.
I also didn't want to deal with dual booting. I was like, I'm not going to learn grub.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I just will not.
I thought I was going to have to mess with it. I didn't have to do anything. It just worked perfectly right out of the box. Yay. I wanted to play Forza, so I booted into Windows. That's pretty much all I actually used it for. I was back on Linux literally today.
Yeah.
So whatever. But I'm technically done the challenge, so I can do that. Funnily enough, I ended up reading a tweet after I was done playing Forza that someone got Forza working on Linux. It took them 5 days, which is like amazing. And also
terrible.
Yeah. But it was such a pain to try to play with other people because Microsoft's weird obfuscated stuff these days. Yeah. A lot of the like user panels and ways things work are actually just really, really odd. And this is coming from someone who has used Windows forever.
Yeah.
Trying to multiplayer with people in Forza is really difficult, and we ended up all needing to like download additional applications and all this kind of stuff. Like it was a nightmare.
Did I talk about how horrible it was playing Minecraft Dungeons with my kids?
Really fun game, but
right? Because I had to create Microsoft accounts for them, but they're like junior accounts, and even their parent was not automatically enabled to play online games with them. So I had to go and navigate. It took me like 2 hours to get it all going between buying the game for all my kids and setting up the accounts and setting up the parental things. Because there's two different things. First, I had to make it so that we could actually be friends. Then we were friends, but like the button just wasn't there. So I had to make it so that, and there's ways that Microsoft could absolutely make that experience way better, right? Like they could have the online button. And then kind of like it works on Android. If my kids want to install an app, it'll just send me a notification. I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, sure.
There is no reason why Minecraft Dungeons couldn't just, if they go to play online, have a button that they ask for permission. And then I could accept it on a case-by-case basis if I didn't want them on all the time. Or I could say, okay, yes, all the time or whatever. Like there's no reason that those systems can't be better. And I've got someone here is, let me have a look at this. Jamie says, I feel like the problem with Windows is being exaggerated a bit. Well, for sure. But the problems with everything are exaggerated a bit.
I don't even necessarily agree, I should say.
Actually, yeah, that's fair.
I don't think it's being exaggerated. There's a lot of stuff in Windows that is really straightforward because it's been really straightforward for 10 years. But there's a lot of stuff with Windows where they're trying to, like, anytime Microsoft has tried to get into the gaming space on PC, which I know is like kind of weird to say because they made DirectX, but you know what I mean. The more like consumer usage side of the gaming space, it's been really bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, just stop trying to remake the wheel. Forza's a fantastic game. Been having tons of fun. The worst part was trying to play with other people, which is really weird because like a theme of the game is like, oh, we're a family, we're a community, let's all like race together. And then you like can't play with your friends. When I bought it on Steam, it feels like they're like literally 5+ years behind on a lot of stuff. And I really appreciate that they're trying to do this like cross-platform thing. So you can own a game for computer or own a game for console and play it on both. That's very cool. Either don't get your little grubby little hands on like the friends list and stuff that make the experience really bad.
Yeah.
Or just do it right. I know you can.
Yeah.
I know you're capable.
You're a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm sure you can figure it out.
Yes, I shouldn't I have the Xbox app. I shouldn't have to download the Xbox Game Bar in order to invite my friends to games. Stop it. Also, I couldn't even log into the game at first.
Oh, I've had that issue before too, where you literally cannot do anything because their authentication servers down.
The Microsoft account.
And you're just stuck staring at it like screen, like the car going, right?
I had to go into some like weird credential manager and like delete a bunch of stuff. And then eventually I had to say sign in with Windows Hello, which I don't have set up. And then it just worked because it's like bugged out. Like, oh man,
sure.
What a terrible experience. Anyways.
Sure.